What is up, y'all? It is Dan. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you are enjoying what you are seeing here today, please do us a huge favor, hit that subscribe button. And if you're like, yeah, this is fine, I guess, but I wish it was way longer and that I could participate, boom, we've got you, friend. Head on over to our Twitch channel. We are there every Monday, every Wednesday, and every Friday, and we would love to hear from you. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Okay, so the next football topic, for the NFL this year, they've announced no more pass interference reviews. They experimented with making pass interference a reviewable call last year. Some coaches threw some challenge flags. Sometimes it was overturned, sometimes it wasn't. And they're apparently not bringing it back. This to me feels like when a teacher made up a bad rule that made no sense, where it was like, if you get 10 stickers, you get extra recess. And then a week later, like the value of the sticker has been crazily inflated and deflated back and forth because no one knows what a sticker means. And it's like, no more stickers for extra recess because it got out of hand because you just kept asking me for stickers. And it's like, well, you're the one who started the sticker thing in the first place. Just fix a rule so we can go to recess.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's how I feel.
There is a weird vibe about it that, like, the NFL is blaming us for it not working. I hadn't put my finger on that until you just said it, but it is a little bit like, oh, you don't like that either? And it's like, yeah, we don't like it because you did it bad, asshole.
Yeah.
Like, if you did it good, we would have been on board.
That's the thing. I feel like it was kind of like one of those things where, like, they're like, oh, you think this should be reviewable? Yeah, we'll review it. And then they did it in a way where it was like, we're just going to stop the game for like 8 minutes and then not reverse it every single fucking time.
Yeah.
And then it made us feel like, well, that is a dumb, bad rule. Because, like, if you Google, like, how many pass interferences are overturned, it's just like a million articles from November of 2019 that are like, this is the worst thing since Hitler. Like, it's like every article, people just being so outraged. But it's like, it was like a poorly delivered upon idea.
Right.
More so than a bad idea, right?
Right.
That's my takeaway anyway.
There's this interview with Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland, like people who created Rick and Morty, and they're talking about how Justin Roiland is like a horrible person to work with because it's like you'll pitch him an idea, and if he doesn't like the idea, he'll tell you it's a bad idea, and then he'll riff it out poorly. So it'll be like, ooh, what if like Rick and Morty, like, what if they went on a cruise? And Justin will be like, oh, no, that's a dumb idea. Hey, Rick, I don't like it on the cruise. You're stupid, Morty. See, it's just not funny. And they're like, yeah, because you did it badly.
Yeah.
I
think they did a little bit of that to us, where they were like, well, look at this. This was horribly officiated. It must be a bad rule.
Yeah.
I feel like that's also just like government, where they're like, no, see, we can't do that thing where we don't let people die because they can't pay for a hospital because, look, we kind of tried it and we fucked it up. So government's actually bad. I'm sorry. So we shouldn't do that at all.
You should still pay a shit ton in taxes because we do have some random brown people we'd love to blow up. So thank you.
Well,
yeah, it's just like the rule should be Sky Judge can buzz down at any point. If he's like, we think this one is, we think this one isn't, it's like you could take 10 to 30 seconds to confirm or deny calls at any given moment. And then like to just be like, hold the play for a sec. Okay, we're good. And then if you're like, we actually need to take a look at this, that'll only take like a minute or two because the guy will be like, clearly he stepped out of bounds. Take a look. Like, the fact that the guy who has something else to do at that moment is the one who needs to run to the sideline and look at the like, he's the worst guy for it because he's most entrenched in the rest of the game. Separate it out, and then the whole operation can go more smoothly.
Yeah.
Well, because like refs are like they're cops, except for Twitch terms of service redacted that I want to do to them. So like they're. But like the thing is, it's like it does make sense in a way, and I feel like it's almost growing into the thing of having like cops and judges. Like
right.
Yes.
You know, like there's the call on the ground, but then they're like, well, if it's actually serious, we're gonna need to like run this by somebody who isn't just like a stripy shirt asshole. Like we're gonna need to run this by like some people who, you know, who the public can't see and are like it's more special or than the refs.
And I'm for abolishing penalties as a whole because the whole thing, no.
That's such a good metaphor, Devin. I'm using that
totally.
forever. That's such a good metaphor. Yeah.
I like the idea of like trying to pitch the criminal justice system of being like, well, the cops got to come up with the sentencing because he was the one who was there. How can you subvert his authority?
Exactly. And I also like the idea of they should start showing us the people in New York that call it, and they should all be in the white wigs and robes, like weighing over the idea of the PI call. Well, not that anymore, but whatever the challenge.
It's a rare opportunity to design a new job with a new uniform and a new role in the future of the NFL. So,
well, and that's a thing I was thinking about was like for the calls is like the worst idea ever, which is why like I'm afraid to speak it into existence, is that when there's like a challenge call, just do it like American Idol style, and it's literally like text PI 2 for he did interfere with the pass. Like text TI, and then you text it in, and just the public gets to decide in like a 1 minute span what the right call was.
Honestly, I bet they would get it right quicker. Like, I bet there would be a few times where it would really mess up, but I feel like that sort of plural aspect would like get the call right very quickly more often than not.
I feel like it would slightly favor New York and LA, but other than that, I think it's kind of cool.
I feel like there'd be a saboteur aspect to it though, where it's like, I don't care what happened. The Pats committed a penalty. Sorry, y'all. That's what happened. And I feel a lot of people probably feel that way. But in a way, that's just like this league wants parity. What's more parity than if we decide the Patriots don't win this game? Because that was pass interference, y'all.
Yeah, like that offside against like D Ford or whoever it was in the AFC Championship game. Everyone just votes no.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think he timed the snap is what he did. So
also, like, I have been to enough like football parties to be like, no one knows the rules. Like, everyone is working with a version of the rules that's like 10 years old, where we're all like, well, no, because that. When I used to pay attention to the rules, that wouldn't have been a problem. So why is that a problem now?
It's like, have you ever? I watched a promo for football that came out in like 1989, and it was like every single thing in their highlight reel would have been like a horribly. Would be like
it's just like a regular chest catch into the end zone.
Well, no, but it was just people like grabbing each other by the head and like whipping them around and slamming on them on the ground. Like just the intense violence that like made up the whole highlight reel was like, we would consider all that egregious fouls, and people would be like doing the like, it's just shameful. That is just shameful. It was like the cool thing to do not that long ago.
Dude, until like 2006, there was a weekly segment on like Sunday Night Football that was like, look at these idiots get smashed into concussion states. Like,
it was called like, Jacked Up.
It was called Jacked Up, yeah.
And all the hosts, they go, you just got, and they'd all together go, Jacked Up. And like not like every segment, like every clip within the segment, they'd end it with, and he just got Jacked Up.
That slaps. I mean, it doesn't. It's awful. But yeah, no, agreed. We definitely turned the corner pretty quickly on the, we were wrong. Hits aren't good. Hits are bad.
You're like, oh, yeah, you keep using your head for like many years after you stop playing football, it turns out.
Yeah. There was definitely a Lions safety who it was just like his tackling method was just like a Tahitian dive where it's just like, hip, and he'd like lead with his head and not even like include his arms and just like nail people. It's like, that's not good for you.
Here, I gotta take a bathroom break, which surprisingly isn't code for any kind of drug. So I actually have to do that. I'll be right back.
Yeah, take your time, man. Yeah, dude.
I have to smoke some meth real quick, which is my code name for peeing.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, I agree. I think it seems crazy that the head ref is in charge of making those decisions. It's so clearly just like, I don't know, have a guy upstairs who has camera angles, make the call, tell the ref, and keep the game moving. Make
Yeah,
it
dude.
snappy.
Yeah, it's like there's basically like 3 different kinds of plays that need to have 3 different situations that go on with them.
Yeah.
One is like egregious, obvious miscalls.
Okay.
Another is like straight up 50-50 plays where it's like you really need to watch the tape to know what happened.
Right.
And then other ones is like ones that are close enough that like, oh, if we watch it a couple times, we'll see what happens. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, for that third category, there should be a way for a guy upstairs to be like, hey, refs, hold the next snap for like 30 seconds while we confirm this call. Right.
Right.
Or like even like 10 seconds.
Right.
Because the play clock is only 25 seconds. Anyway. And then it's like, if they need to be like, okay, let's watch this one. If they need to bump it up to like the one where it's like, okay, let's take a minute. Hold on, wait for a call. Okay, this is what it is. And then there's ones where it's like, hey, you straight up made the wrong call. Stop the game, come look at this real quick, and go back and fix it. None of those should take that long.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just frustrating.
And not even like come back and look at it. Just like, hey, I'm telling you this is what happened. You don't need to see it. Like, it doesn't matter if you've seen it. This is what happened. We're sure about it, you know?
Yeah. In rugby, they just like have the ref. They just like explain to the ref what happened. And he's like, okay, I guess the guy stepped out of bounds, blah, 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 blah.
Right. And like, I think the whole thing is like that coaches, I think it's like coaches want someone that they can yell at who like made the decision. And it's like, if anything, that takes the heat off of the ref a little bit. Because the ref's like, look, man, I'm not making that call. The God Mike is making that call. That's what happened. So sorry, bud.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you guys were talking about while I was gone, but the thing I was thinking about with that is I feel like we need more lasers in football in terms of there should never be like a question of any human being's eyes being involved in like, did they cross the threshold of a touchdown?
Yes.
Why is there not fucking lasers?
Right.
Like a scanner style. Like I feel like out of bounds and into the end zone. Like there's some tech stuff that could be going on.
Yeah,
here.
little like GPS things in the ball or something. Like it can't be that difficult to be like to make a sensor that if it crosses a certain point, you know.
It automatically, like because that's the thing. It's like both tips of the ball have like a little chip and boom, it passes the pylon. It's not a question.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm for the like eventual full robocopatization of football.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. I'm like, either we should maybe just fully get rid of replay and be like, I don't know what the people saw, they saw, and like that's part of the game. Or there's no human error whatsoever. Like it's fully robots, and it's like currently that like the way the game exists now that creates some complications because it's like there's holding on every play. There's like minor pass interference on every play. But like within 4 years, that would be like evolved out of the game, and you would just get this like it would be a sort of new game probably because like the way you would have to play as a DB would be different because like half of all plays as a DB where you played good defense, you probably technically committed a penalty. You know what I mean? But it's just like in 3 games, you would have this crazy fast, crazy streamlined game where it's like either a sack, a touchdown, or a pick like every time, and it moves like that, just like nonstop.
Also, that like holding on every play thing is such a canard to me because like no one is sitting there going, oh man, there's holding on every play. So what's going to happen is the coaches are going to challenge holding on every play, and the refs are going to be like, oh man, we keep having to call this holding that's on every play. It's like, no, the coaches only have 2 challenges anyway. Even if there is holding on every play, you can only challenge it twice, and then you're done challenging it for the rest of the time. And refs aren't going to be like, oh yeah, you're right, we missed that ticky-tack holding here. Like it's just never like if we institute it, it's never going to be that nightmare scenario where we're reviewing a holding on every single play. So like I don't see why that is like a thing we even bring up as a problem.
Yeah. All right, cool. I'm gonna go smoke some pot, which is also what I call going to the bathroom. BRB.
But yeah, it's funny too because we started. I don't know were we on in Cam yet when we were talking about AI.
Yeah, totally. That was part of the show.
Okay, because like it's funny because I came back around to being like, I want it. I kind of feel like I want it as close to that as possible without getting there. Like I want the lasers. I want the all that shit.
Well, you don't have to do it with lasers necessarily, because the way they do it in soccer is they have like multiple cameras, and then like they basically have, so you can like recognize where the ball is in any camera image that you see, right? Yeah. And then any like three-dimensional point in space is going to have a certain combination of locations in each of those camera images. So if you like have a three-dimensional map of the field in the stadium and you have programmed each space with where that ball would appear in each of these pictures, you can like feed the pictures into a machine and they will output where the ball is during that moment. So they do it when it's like, okay, we're going to pause all these screens at the time where the ball is over the line, and then the machine will tell us exactly like to an inch whether it's like over the line or on the line or what. So that's cool. They do it in soccer matches where it's like they like show you both pictures of like from two angles, and then it like zooms and swings around to this like 3D model, and they're like, the ball is here on the line, no goal.
Dang. See, they figured that out. And it's weird because it almost does make me wonder, is like if there's some level of controversy in call and those kind of things that are like part of the poetry of football that they like intentionally leave in.
Right.
Like, wouldn't it feel like I would almost feel robbed if I watched a football season with no like bad calls?
Yeah.
I mean, like, this isn't the football I grew up knowing and loving. Like, part of it is supposed to like, I think people would feel like slowly like they were missing out on being like, oh, come the fuck on,
Right.
As a Lions fan, I do feel like looking at you in the same way of someone who just is like, I kind of like wish I grew up poor. I feel like that would have taught me some really nice lessons or something like that.
That is true.
But no, you're right that it's like people want to like, people want to have things to complain about as much as they want to limit that.
It's like football is like just this weird American source of organic mythology. You know what I mean? So it's like you want some level of like institutional injustice here and there. It's like it represents, it's like when we are getting our anger and our ire out via the game, part of it is like, and that team would have won if it wasn't for that thing that happened, and like that, and it
all
like
the asterisks.
Yeah, it resonates in your soul with how reality actually is,
Yeah, because don't you maybe as a Lions fan also like the fact that like your team might not have been good at certain times, but like multiply that by the refs being consistently shitty, and then you get to be like, well, we might not always pull together, but they're really fucking us over.
Yeah. It is like not necessarily like a source of pride or like comfort necessarily, but something adjacent to that where it's like, we're not just the bad, like we are the like if we can't receive praise and glory through winning, at least we can receive it by other teams realizing that we get screwed over.
Yeah. Also, like, I am so excited for the year that you guys are finally a real, like, for like the 10 years when you guys are a really good team, you're going to appreciate it in a way that no one ever gets to appreciate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I had a buddy who used to play a video game, and it was like, there were like within the video game there were two like groups, like two like tribes or organizations, and then it was like a PvP server, so every now and then one of the groups would just go into the other people's like main city and just demolish them all, because this side had like 1,000 people and this side only like 100 people on that server had chosen that tribe. So it was like they stood no chance. This side would always come over and like every day, to the point where it was like a detriment to your day-to-day playing of the game if you were on this side. And so a lot of people would delete their account, make another one, and join this one. So this was just an unstoppable monolith within the game. And I remember him coming out of his room one day and just like a picture of bliss, and I was like, what's going on, man? And he was like, we did it, we finally won. We won, man. They came into our place and we got them. we kicked him right out. And it was like, he was happy for a week off of a video game victory that means nothing. So
That's
it's like,
tight.
when you guys are a good team, you're going to be able to savor it, unlike anyone has ever been able to savor it.
I did read this article that was talking about how, I don't remember what the exact metric was, but it was something like fan satisfaction. And they were comparing like American football, where it's like any given Sunday, lots of parity, to like British soccer, where it's like there's teams way at the top and teams way at the bottom. And what they found was that like you would think that parity would make fans more satisfied, but actually in the like more in the like less parity league, more like Giants and Minnows league, fans are more satisfied because every now and then they get to beat a Giant, and then the Giants are satisfied because they like are good and win the league every year and stuff. So it's like it's actually like a weird recipe to set people up for more people up for a certain kind of success than everyone to be set up for one type of success that most of them won't reach.
I wonder if, though, the fact that they have, like, healthcare factors into that at all. I feel like, that might, I don't know. We think it's like being dissatisfied is, like, part of the experience that an American sports consumer is looking for. Not that that's directly related, but, like, I feel like, I mean, especially because I grew up in the Philly sports market, is that, like, being like, yo, the Eagles are fucking great. Wentz is going all the way this year. Is like brings people just as much joy as being like, yo, Wentz is a fucking bum. Like, they like being dissatisfied. They're like satisfied with their dissatisfaction. If that makes sense.
Sure.
Do you think I also wonder if there's a certain amount of like satisfaction that just comes from certainty? You know what I mean? Where it's just like you just know what you're getting. You go into the year and you know you're going to have a bad team. So then when you have success, it's like a pleasant surprise. And like, you go into the season having a good team, and guess what? You're right most of the time. You just know what you're getting. And like, maybe it's just nice to experience certainty as a human being.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, it's like, if you know that your soccer team is going to win like 7 games out of 36, 38, and you end up winning like 12, you're like, oh, what a season, man. You know?